Welcome to the legendary Lore channel. If you are watching for the first time, subscribe to see more videos that teach morals. Let's dive into the story. It is heartfelt. Watch and listen until the end. Nestled in the heart of a vast countryside lay a small town with no more than 2,000 residents. This town, though modest in size, was rich in culture, warmth, and communal spirit. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other's name. Mornings began with the cheerful crow of roosters, and evenings were spent sharing stories under the glow of lanterns. The people of the town depended heavily on agriculture and animal husbandry, their livelihoods tied to the land and the animals they nurtured. Despite their modest means, they lived contentedly until an unforeseen menace cast a dark shadow over their idyllic lives. For months, an unrelenting terror plagued the town, a monstrous snake unlike any other. This snake was no ordinary creature. Its size was colossal, its fangs venomous, and its cunning unmatched. It stalked the town's periphery under the cover of darkness, preying on livestock and, worse, human lives. The townsfolk's initial fears escalated into full-blown panic when the serpent claimed the lives of 5 brilliant children, whose loss pierced the community's heart. These children had been the pride and hope of the town, future leaders, dreamers, and innovators whose potential was cruelly snatched away. Their untimely deaths left parents grief-stricken, neighbors anxious, and even the town's king, a stoic and revered leader, burdened with unspeakable sorrow. The snake's reign of terror left the people paralyzed with fear. Livestock owners watched helplessly as their animals vanished. Hunters, the town's traditional protectors, refused to venture into the forest, knowing their usual weapons were no match for the beast. Children were forbidden from playing outside, and families huddled together indoors, praying for divine intervention. The sense of community that once defined the town began to crumble under the weight of despair. However, amidst this darkness, there existed an unlikely symbol of courage, a small but fiercely protective hen. This hen, known simply as Brave, was the epitome of maternal devotion. She was ordinary in appearance, but extraordinary in spirit, her entire life revolving around the care of her chicks. No one dared approach her brood, for Brave would defend them with a ferocity that belied her diminutive size. To the townsfolk, she was both an oddity and a marvel, a creature whose unwavering love and bravery stood in stark contrast to the fear that had gripped their hearts. Brave's reputation grew, and her defiance became a quiet source of inspiration for the people. But even Brave could not escape the shadow of the monstrous snake. One fateful night, as the town lay cloaked in uneasy silence, the snake slithered from its lair once more, its hunger driving it toward the hunter's house where Brave and her chicks resided. What unfolded that night would forever change the course of the town's history. The hunter's house stood on the outskirts of the town, a modest structure surrounded by lush greenery and dense underbrush. It was here that Brave had chosen to roost with her brood, finding shelter and relative safety within its walls. The hunter, a pragmatic man, had grown fond of Brave's antics, often marveling at the fearless protection of her chicks. His house, however, harbored a dangerous secret, a deep hole in the backyard filled with deadly chemicals. The hunter had dug the hole to safely store these substances, used for his work in the bush, away from curious children and unsuspecting animals. As the snake slithered through the shadows that night, its movements were deliberate and menacing. It had one goal: to find prey. Drawn by the scent of Brave's chicks, the serpent breached the hunter's home, its presence sending the small family of birds into a frenzy. The chicks scattered, their tiny feet pattering across the wooden floor as they sought refuge. But Brave did not flee. She confronted the snake head-on. Her feathers puffed, her sharp beak poised for battle. The confrontation was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Brave's defiant squawks echoed through the night as she darted and pecked at the snake, her movements quick and calculated. The snake, momentarily startled by the hen's audacity, hesitated before launching its attack. The two creatures danced a deadly waltz, the snake's fangs snapping inches away from Brave's feathers and Brave's beak striking with unrelenting determination. The commotion awakened the hunter, who grabbed his weapon and rushed to the scene. But before he could intervene, the chaos took an unexpected turn. In a desperate bid to protect her chicks, Brave retreated toward the backyard, luring the snake away from her vulnerable brood. The snake, driven by its predatory instincts, pursued her relentlessly. Neither creature noticed the hole in their path until it was too late. Brave, agile, and quick, managed to avoid the deadly chemicals as she fell into the hole, landing behind the substance. The snake, blinded by its focus on its prey, slithered directly into the chemical pool. The reaction was immediate and catastrophic. The potent mixture began to corrode the snake's flesh, its agonized hisses filling the air. Within moments, the once mighty predator was no more. The hunter, witnessing the scene, was struck by a mix of relief and disbelief. The terror that had plagued the town for so long had finally been vanquished, not by weapons or human ingenuity, but by the bravery of a small hen. Brave emerged from the ordeal unscathed, her feathers ruffled but her spirit intact. She returned to her chicks, who huddled around her in awe and relief. The snake's death marked the end of a dark chapter for the town, but the scars it left behind were deep and painful. The loss of the 5 children remained a haunting memory, their absence a void that could never be filled. Their parents mourned openly, their cries of grief a poignant reminder of the fragility of life. The town's collective sorrow was palpable, a weight that hung heavily over every home and heart. Livestock owners recounted their losses, the animals they had raised with care now reduced to memories. The economic impact was significant, with many families struggling to recover from the financial strain. The once thriving town had been brought to its knees by the predator's rampage, and rebuilding would require time, effort, and unity. Despite the tragedy, the snake's demise brought a sense of closure. The townspeople began to heal, drawing strength from each other and the story of Brave's heroism. The hen's actions became a symbol of resilience and hope, inspiring the community to face their challenges with renewed determination. The battle between Brave and the snake was more than just a clash of predator and prey. It was a profound representation of courage in the face of insurmountable odds. Brave, a creature so small and seemingly insignificant, had stood up to a foe that had terrorized an entire town. Her actions demonstrated that bravery is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. The snake, on the other hand, embodied the destructive power of unchecked aggression and fear. Its reign of terror had driven a wedge between the townspeople, sowing distrust and despair. Yet in the end, it was outwitted by a creature it had underestimated. The confrontation highlighted the importance of unity and determination. The town's eventual peace was not the result of a single action, but a culmination of individual efforts. The hunter's precautions, the community's prayers, and most importantly, Brave's selfless bravery. Together, these elements wove a narrative of hope and redemption that would be passed down through generations. The town's recovery was slow but steady. With the snake gone, life began to return to normal. Children played outside once more, livestock roamed freely, and the communal spirit that had defined the town was rekindled. The townsfolk honored the memories of those they had lost, their story serving as both a tribute and a cautionary tale. Brave, the unlikely heroine, was celebrated in song and story. Her legacy lived on as a symbol of the power of love and courage, a reminder that even the smallest among us can make a profound difference. The town, once shrouded in fear, emerged stronger and more united, its people forever inspired by the bravery of a little hen who dared to stand against the darkness.